Alright, we're ready. Let's get the show started. Welcome, everybody. This is High Frequencies, episode number 5, called Frequency Control 101. The show's name's Higher Frequency. I guess that's the reason why these first shows will be a lot about frequency, because frequency is everything. Everything is frequencies. Thoughts, everything you see, this whole holographic display that we call life, which is all it is nothing but frequencies and vibrations and frequencies of light, and just the basic molecule itself of an atom is a frequency in itself. You're a transmitter of frequencies. You put out your own frequency. You're also affected by other frequencies. So like we've talked before, if you control your thoughts and control your frequencies, then you're inevitably completely affecting your 3D reality that we call life. A matrix per se, because that's all it is. It's just a matrix. Even down to the fabric is a bunch of ones and zeros, just like the matrix. Just same way a computer operates. It's nothing but a bunch of ones and zeros that makes the whole computer operate, but you can do everything with it. We're talking with one another. I'm broadcasting across the entire world. If anybody wants to watch, you can send a message to somebody just instantly. Same way this computer operates. It's the same way the very bottom base fabric of reality is. Neil deGrasse and them, when they broke everything down to its most simple form, they found ones and zeros, which is just binary code, which is how obviously we created computers, because it's not like nature. Nature and how things work became before we did, and so obviously we design and build things the same way the fabric of the universe is created, because you can't help it. It's your blueprint. It's just how you're made to duplicate. That's the fabric of existence is duplication. Source, prime creator, God. We're all gods, so wouldn't use the term God, but it's the same thing, because everything's connected, and so inevitably everything's the same. That's why you have such control of your entire life. Your entire reality is solely based on your perception, your thoughts, and that's how you control your life and control your frequency. If you look into any successful people, like we've talked before, they're basically telling you the same thing. You know, they thought successful, and therefore they became successful. In a nutshell, law of attraction is another term for it. But here we're just making it super basic frequencies. That's it. It's all frequencies. And so tonight's episode, we're going to talk about how to control those frequencies more, because for 85 years, from what I see, for the past 85 years, your frequencies have been manipulated by technology, through propaganda and everything else. It's something they started here in World War II, and now it's perfected master control of all the sheeple of the world. It's one of my favorite terms is sheeple, but it's really just people who's asleep. That's why they call this an awakening, because people are waking up to reality. And that's part of this whole shift that's happening. That was the whole prediction for 2012, and the Mayans, all the stories that pointed to the same date. It felt was the end of the world. It was the end of the world. It was the end of the old world. And the new one is we're going to learn things that everybody should have learned in school, and in the new age. Our young ones will know these things, and that's how we will create the golden age that was predicted, and that's how we're going to change the world peacefully with love. And there ain't nothing anybody can do about it, because light always wins and the love always wins. And so we're just gonna keep shedding the light on the darkness and learning all this stuff together, and keep rocking and rolling. So, is it possible that different types of frequencies, is it possible that your thoughts have a frequency, like a radio? Absolutely. That's why controlling your thoughts, by learning meditation, and mainly is focus. The new age, the new thing, what people is going to realize is we're going to share each other's thoughts. And so basically you are sharing other people's thoughts. When thoughts just come out of nowhere that really wasn't your thought, where'd it come from if it wasn't your thought? But if you stew on that thought, or bring light to that thought, it's the action with the thought that matters. If the thought comes in your head and you throw it out, you're the spam blocker per se. That's how you're going to control your frequency. You can't control a thought from coming in your head, but you control what you do with that thought, whether you push it out or you focus on it. And that's all about controlling your frequency. It's about controlling your focus, and that's what meditation and discovering yourself with the journey within that you're going to find out is how to control that frequency. And then, once you learn how to control, and you learn how to stay positive all the time, keep that vibration high, inevitably the goal is try to learn to love every single person, like a child. If you have a child, you can understand just the feeling, the warmness that you feel in your heart chakra. I mean, that's what you're feeling. And when you feel love, you feel that nice warm heat in your chest when you think about how much you love your kid. When you learn how to look at every single person or living thing, whether it be a plant, an insect, a person, even the most evilest person you could ever think of, when you learn how to look at that person's journey and lessons that they have to learn, or if you look at them just as a lost soul, they're just vibrating real low. They've been disconnected from themselves, from truth and from the light, and so they don't understand what I'm trying to teach you guys. And so even though they may have done the most evil, most despicable thing you could ever imagine, you still have to look at that person with love, just the way you look at your child. And then when you learn to do that, the world is really going to change really quick. But you're going to change, and your reality is going to change really quick too, because that's right there with total enlightenment. This is what all the great yogis and prophets and people that claim to be gods throughout history were just trying to teach. Is that journey within is where you connect with source, prime creator, creative force, God, as everybody used to say. That's kind of how all that works. And so your thoughts, just like a radio station, it's all what you tune in. The radio's always got frequencies sending out, all kinds of radio stations and stuff, but it all depends on which one you turn your dial to, on which one you're going to tune into. So your thoughts actually emit a frequency. which are directly controlled by your thoughts and emotions. And the more you think about it, and you actually feel, and you meditate, and you learn about how your body works, this vehicle, the more you learn about your vehicle, the more you realize that tuning in to these radio stations or frequencies, which with your thoughts and emotions, you'll see the effect on your body. You'll see it, you'll feel it. The main thing is about feeling it. And that's why the world is so lost, is everybody's lost that connection to feeling. But when you see disasters happen and stuff, you see true humanity come out. And so I've always seen that true humanity. It's that little bit of light that's left, that shines through, that gives everybody hope. Whenever you see somebody give a homeless person shoes, or you see these poor kids that don't have no food, they're starving to death, but they got the biggest damn smile on their face, and they're happy with the little bit they got. That's humanity. That's your original blueprint. Being at that thought, that frequency, just like that little kid there, that's the spot. That's where you want to be, and that's what humanity is all about. And that's the little piece that's always given me hope for the bright new future. Before I learned all the things that I knew now, that a bright new future was coming, no matter what. Just kind of like everybody taught. They talked about, Christianity talked about the second coming of Christ, or the rapture, and all that jazz. It's just they messed the story up. It was used to control you, to scare you. Cause that was some fucking scary shit. I remember learning about that, thinking that just you wake up one day and everybody fucking disappeared, and then everybody's left is just a bunch of bad fuckers about to go through 7 years of bullshit. That's some pretty scary shit. And then after that, they were going to burn in hell for the rest of their life. Fear's a frequency, and if churches actually knew what they were talking about, if they actually knew history of the book that they were teaching everybody out of, and how it was manipulated, and it's half lies, and the rest of it's metaphorical. And so if they knew that and realized that they was promoting fear by telling somebody they were going to burn in hell for the rest of their life, that they were actually doing the complete opposite of everything that they thought they were working towards. Hypocrites. But we won't call them hypocrites, because they were just lost and they didn't know. It's funny, preachers call themselves shepherd, leading the sheep. But now looking back, it's just been sheep leading fucking sheep. So congratulations, guys. The second coming of Christ is called Christ consciousness. Jesus wasn't the man's name. His name was Yeshua. So that's the first part where you guys started messing up with the story. Jesus Christ, it's kind of close. The Christ part was definitely wasn't his last name. The Christ is the consciousness. The story was kind of right, but a little messed up. The second coming of Christ is the second coming of Christ consciousness. And this is a grid that I mentioned back on a couple episodes back. We may hit on that this week and talk about that some, because that's going to also, everything's going to relate back to frequency. So the more I'm learning about all this stuff and doing the show, it's that synchronicity. And everything kind of going back to this name here is, it just seems funny to me. Not really, it's just synchronicity, just how it works. That's whenever you know you're doing the right things you need to be doing, is when things synchronize. You see the numbers, shit just falls in place. When you're feeling good, you got that good vibration going on, you're gonna know it, and you're gonna see it everywhere. So that frequency and that thought, it's being sent out to the world and everyone around you. That's what we're always talking about they actually proved it by putting monks in cities, just one monk in one city, and testing different things from crime rate to the stock market and other things. And the vibration from that one monk had an effect on nearly 70 million people. And so right there's your proof that your thoughts, your vibration is affecting everything, everyone. And so if everybody vibrated at a monk status, there'd be no room for any bad in the world. People would they would be downloaded with the knowledge that's going on now. A lot of this stuff that I talk to you guys about, I know bits and pieces, but when I get on here and talk about it, I get the rest of the pieces. It's a download. It's the grid. It's the conscious grid. It's what you're connected to. I'm connecting to it and sharing information off of it. I even read an article talking about if you're starting to forget more, it's because you're changing. You don't need your brain for memory. Once you're completely connected to the grid, your thoughts is everybody's thoughts. Your knowledge is every knowledge that there ever was. It sounds crazy, but I guess we'll all see in due time. But I know if you start controlling those frequencies and everybody else starts controlling those frequencies, nobody has a clue at how awesome the world is going to turn out to be here in the future. I talked about the waves. You've seen the first wave come in the 60s, and then there's 2 more waves afterwards. The third being the generation that's being born now. They're automatically vibrating higher. That's one of the theories on the autism, is these kids are just vibrating so high naturally. They just can't affect the medium low vibration that's going on now. But then some are just vibrating higher, and they handle it. You can see it in these real young kids. I know we didn't have tablets when we were 1, 2, 3 years old. My generation, I'm 30, but these little kids, if anybody's got a kid, up to like 15 years old, and you seen when they were little and how they are now, these kids are fucking brilliant. They're setting the status quo way higher than anybody else, and that's why, is because they're connected to they're vibrating higher. They're more connected to that grid. They got more access to knowledge than what any teacher or anybody else can give them. That's why school bores them. That's why a lot of kids are diagnosed with ADHD. It's just boring. They're not teaching them anything. I don't know when I quit learning in school, but it was pretty young age where the information was just kind of useless and a waste of my time, my life. They could have been teaching me something way more relevant, like what I'm trying to teach you guys here. They were teach meditation in school, and after you get the basics, you need to be learning real things about life, and then deciding what you want to do with it. And then each kid needs to be taught more about towards what their path is, per se. I know myself, as an empathetic person, I feel people's feelings and stuff like that. And so before I knew anything about empathy, I didn't really know why I wanted to stay at home all the time and not be around people. Never understood why being around somebody mad or sad or whatever, I would feel it. And so everybody has a degree of empathy. Some people are more empathetic, but inevitably everybody is becoming more empathetic these days, and it's also going to help the world care for one another like they should. Um, uh, and so you can already tell uh, how your emotions and your thoughts can affect your reality uh, across the board. Um, when you're in a good mood, people want to be around you. It's it's not just because they see you. I mean, that smile on your face may attract you, but they feel your energy to a certain degree, and so people know when you're mad and you need to be alone, or when you're in a good mood, people want to be around you. They'll want to be around you. It's not just because they see you. I mean, that smile on your face attract you, but they feel your energy to a certain degree, and so people know when you're mad and you need to be alone, or when you're in a good mood, people want to be around you. They'll want to be around you. It's not just because they see you. I mean, that smile on your face attract you, but so automatically they feel your energy to a certain degree, and so people know when you're mad and you can tell when somebody's mad, you're not going to be around. You can tell you need to be alone, or when you're in a good mood, people want to be around you. It's going to control around you. It's not just because they see you. I mean, that smile on your face attract you, but so automatically they feel your energy to a certain degree, and so people know when you're mad and you can tell when somebody's mad, you're not going to be around. You can tell you need to be alone, or when you're in a good mood, people want to be around you. It's going to control around you. It's not just because they see you. I mean, that smile on your face attract you, but so automatically they feel your energy to a certain degree, and so people know when you're mad and you can tell when somebody's mad, you're not going to be around. You can tell you need to be alone, or when you're in a good mood, people want to be around you. It's going to control around you. It's not just because they see you. I mean, that smile on your face attract you, but so automatically they feel your energy to a certain degree, and so people know when you're mad and you can tell when somebody's mad, you're not going to be around. You can tell you need to be alone, or when you're in a good mood, people want to be around you. It's going to control around you. It's not just because they see you. I mean, that smile on your face attract you, but so automatically they feel your energy to a certain degree, and so people know when you're mad and you can tell when somebody Sorry guys, still learning this software as the podcast is still new. Getting all the kinks worked out per se. Alright, so if we look at frequencies as a ladder and you start at the bottom, low vibration energy tends to think inwardly, attracted by others on the same level of vibration. So when you're being selfish, and you're down in a bad mood, people that's in a good mood ain't gonna be around you. I know I ain't wanna be around your ass. And so who's gonna want to hang out with you in your bad mood? Somebody else is in bad mood. We know what's gonna happen. Y'all gonna get together and you're like, man, you know what? This and this happened to me and blah blah blah. And like, I know, man, I ain't got nothing but bad luck too, cause this and this happened to me. Well, guess what? You ain't doing nothing but stirring up a low pile of vibration, and you're doing nothing but manifesting all the bad shit that you're talking about. You're putting that out there to the universe or prime source as a thought or an actual word. It doesn't know that you want it or don't want it. It's going to give you that, and so controlling your thoughts and is controlling what you're attracting from prime source or the universal energy or creative force. You know, what you imagine happens in a nutshell. You start raising your vibrational energy, starting to think, project thoughts outward, attract others on the same level, lower vibration energy. So instead of thinking about how everything's bad for you, you kind of start thinking about some people's got it worse. Maybe that one person you were talking to with on the bottom when y'all was talking about all the bad things, maybe theirs was worse. They're going to go on vibrating super low, but they may have given you a little outwardly spark of not thinking about yourself and being selfish about your own problems. And you thought, well, theirs is a little bit worse, so you already took one step up that ladder. The next step of the ladder would be outward vibrational and energy, less of a tendency to think inward and more about others. So that next step, you're not gonna be thinking, hey, that guy or my buddy, his is kind of bad than my problem. Maybe you got to thinking about his problem, and then if you're lucky, maybe you thought about how to help him with his bad problem. And this is going to take you further up that step of that ladder, because you're not thinking about yourself and your problems. You're doing a service to somebody else. You're trying to help them with their problems. And so that's what we're doing with the podcast. We're just trying to help you guys with your problems, and learn everything that's going on at the time, because that's what we're doing also. The next step on the ladder is the outward projected energy, a positive vibration with frequent, genuine thoughts of others over themselves. So just for reference, that buddy of yours that you started thinking about that his problems was worse, and then you start thinking about how you could help him out with his problem. Maybe his problem involved a couple more other people with some problems, and maybe you done got all in it and you're trying to help a couple more people, and you've done put the thoughts of the bad things going on for you way out the door, and so you're not manifesting those bad thoughts. You're raising your vibration by not focusing on yourself and the bad things that you got going on. The next level is a high level vibration energy. It understands the importance of thoughts as pockets of energy. This is where you want to be at. This is the goal you want to try to maintain all the time. This is what I'm working on with myself all the time. That shows high frequencies. I'm trying to teach you guys how frequencies work and how your thoughts is a frequency, and so inevitably I'm trying to teach everybody how to do this here. You understanding how important your thoughts and your frequency is and how to control it and maintaining that is going to keep you at a super high vibrating level, because you're not going to be hanging out with the guy who's all time complaining about his crap, and you're not going to be, you're going to end up cutting your circle down is what's going to happen. You're going to end up being by yourself more than likely for a while until you start transmitting that higher vibration, get out and send out that higher frequency. Then you're going to start attracting those people vibrating higher. Inevitably, you'll start vibrating even higher, faster, and everybody else is going to start in your group there. And if y'all take on projects with thoughts, something y'all want to change, help the world, you don't realize how all those frequencies together and those thoughts and manifestation is multiplied tremendously. Alex said that it's not doubled, it's squared. So two people thinking about one thing that they want to manifest doesn't give it twice the possibility, it squares it. And so that's how the world's going to change so fast, so quick, as soon as we start connecting with ourselves and our community, realizing everything we were taught and everything you thought you knew about history and religion and all that shit was lies. As soon as you do that and realize the real importance of life and what life's all about, and it ain't about it ain't about fucking paying taxes and working and dying. That's slavery. We're all fucking slaves to a piece of paper. Can't help it. That's the way it was. As soon as everybody realizes it sooner, we can fix this shit. But it's already going to happen. There ain't no stopping it. It's been predicted way before. The light has already won. And so just throw your hands in the air and control them frequencies, and let's see where this shit goes. The next step on the ladder is energy creator. Fully understands the mind and directs the energy to get what they want to help others in life. That's why you are God. That's why we are all God and goddesses. The Bible said, and most other books said, that you were created in God's image, or creative source. So if you look into sacred geometry, you understand how simple this is. In the beginning, there was just love. And that's what source and creative energy is. The all-knowing God, if you want to call it, or universal consciousness is what I like to call it, or creative force. It's nothing but love. And in the beginning, it wanted to spread its love. And so it duplicated itself to experience love and to experience life. And so we're all just a duplication of creation. That's why you are God. That's why you can create it. That's why you are the master of all this. That's why your frequency affects everything. And so we've just been far from the light. If you actually try to think about creative force or prime creator as an actual light, think about it being millions of light years, billions as a matter of fact, light years away, the prime creator source. And we're so far from the light. That's why things have went the way they have been. We've kind of been sectioned off in a corner of the universe in darkness by our controllers who's manipulated us. But now the light's shining through and everybody can feel it and they can see it. That's just kind of an easy way to look at it. The energy, the creator, prime source. You fully understand your mind and how to control your frequency, and how to direct that frequency towards manipulating your day-to-day reality, and help change the world, and helping others in life. You're just about at the top of that ladder there. The next level of the ladder is the teacher. This is the top. This is the enlightened. This is the yogi. This is the Jesus. This is the Muhammad. This is the Shiva. This is the Buddha. You know, they weren't Christian or any of these other crap. They were just teachers. And then the winners of wars write the history books, and they manipulated everything they taught to control you and disconnect you from truth, to disconnect you from the light, disconnect you from yourself by teaching you to look outside for any fucking thing. Was one simple change that changed the whole ball game. You know, so look within, find that light within, find out what these yogis were actually teaching, and then that's when you're going to know the truths, and that's when you're going to more than likely become a teacher yourself. So at the top of the ladder, you've transcended, you've given up the need for material possession. You can still enjoy success on a material level, basically because once you hit the top, you're like a master manifester. Your life is what you want it to be. If you look up my man Ralph Smart, he's this awesome dude. He's been talking about this stuff for 5 to 10 years. More what we're focusing on now, that I'm learning about, and Alex is learning about, and everybody's learning about. They're being forced to learn about this stuff. And so he already knew all this stuff, and I learned by watching him, and I understand more. But he talked the talk, and then he walked the walk. You know, he said you control your life with your thoughts and your energies. He's got 1 million YouTube subscribers. He used to say that he wanted to live on the beach or work from the beach, per se. You know, his life, he said he wanted his life to be on the beach. That's what his life is now. He does a couple videos a day, 10-20 minutes long. He's always like out in the rainforest or on the beach or in another country or this and that, and he's been trying to teach people the same things I'm trying to teach you now. And so he's transcended. He gave up the need for material possession. He's got all the material possession he could want. He's got the life that he doesn't need a vacation from. And this is the world that we're all going to create for ourselves when we learn these tools and these truths to reality. I know I don't care about material possessions anymore. Christmas has kind of been sickening for the past 4 or 5 years. I say probably about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, Black Friday like literally just disgusted me. It almost made me want to cry to see people fighting their way into a freaking Walmart. I mean, it's just disgusting. I don't know how else to say it. A lot of us will never get off the forefront of the ladder. That's where your outward projection energy, positive vibration with frequent genuine thoughts of others and themselves. It's pretty hard to get there, especially if you're always getting bombarded and don't have the tools to control that reality and how things are going. And you think about other people mostly. Your life's going to go fairly well, and you're just going to be happy right there because things are going pretty decent for you because you genuinely think about other people most of the time. But you're still gonna be hitting them low spots here and there because you haven't learned how to master yourself, master your reality. You know, if you can suspend belief and start directing your own thoughts in a positive and higher way, you'll be able to enjoy more things that you want. And that's if you check out Ralph Smart and just check out some of his videos and see the things that he's talking about, and then look at his older videos and just hear him talk about his life and how he's changed it. He is proof. He talked the talk and did the walk, and now he's a poster child for me in a nutshell. So controlling these frequencies is catch the negative thoughts, low energy thoughts. You catch it as soon as it comes to your mind, you got to get rid of it. It's like weeding the garden, one weed at a time. But you got to tend to it every day, 24/7. This thing's always popping. As soon as you see that weed, when you get home from work, you see that weed in that flower bed, you just got to pull the thing up right then, and you don't have to overdo it later on. The power's been with you all along. You've just been taught to externalize and giving away your power with religion, money, nationalism, drawing lines in the land. This is our earth. One piece doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to everybody. It's a piece of us. We're connected to it. You can't say this is mine, that's yours. That's bullshit. That's ego and materialism. I'm the type of person I just about give you anything that I got unless I really need it. But when it comes down to it, you should be willing to give anybody anything you got, even your house. If people got rid of that possessiveness and that materialism on that next level, that's almost at the top of the ladder. That's almost like the highest vibration you can get. Once you get to that point, you'll have so much stuff, you won't even want stuff, and people just be trying to give it to you. And that's how it works. Once you get to you don't even want anything, people's gonna try to give you everything that you ever wanted. I always looked for the answers for so long, but we already had them. You're the power that you're seeking whenever you go to religion and stuff like that. Then I was taught to externalize that search, and I did, and I learned a lot. And the more I learned, the more I was like, something's not right here. And so I hit the reset button and went back to not believing anything. And then before I had my son, I was like, I kind of really need to know what's going on so I could tell my child. That was kind of like a real push on finding truth, and then here we are. I know what to tell my child now. Not only am I changing my reality day to day with my thoughts and my actions, I'm changing the world forever by how I raise my child, and what I teach him about life and how things really work. That's the mark that you're going to leave the longest. It's also your biggest creator of karma, because we're reincarnated. One theory, I wouldn't even call it theory, would say it metaphorically. Just say right now, you're already in your mother's womb in your next life. Because time is an illusion, so don't even think about time. Try to think of yourself as a quantum being, that you're experiencing every life that you've ever experienced at the same time, because inevitably you're more like time travelers. We can be anywhere, anytime. You can tell when you go to sleep. You just don't know how to control that yet. And so just think about it. When you're in your mother's womb, think about it that you're asleep. Alright, so when you're in your mother's womb, you're awake in your current life now. The actions you do right now while you're asleep in your mother's womb in your next life, the actions that you do now are affecting your outcome for your next life from when you're born. And say, soon as you die, you wake up and you're born into your next life, and you could be born super poor or abused because you did bad things in this life, or you could learn the way of life and try to help one another and connect, and then possibly that next life you might be something great. But from what I understand in this wheel of karma and this whole shift, is kind of going to be gone whenever everything completely changes. Karma is kind of what had us stuck in the same cycle over and over again, and so that's kind of why all the bad things are coming to light, and people's been going through so much in their lives past 5 or 10 years. You're releasing karma. Like, everybody on earth right now is here for this specific reason, and so people are releasing all their karma from this life in the past. All that stuff has to come to light, and so that's why if you turn on the programming, they're going to use the fear frequency, and they're going to tune you into all the bad things, but it's coming out because it has to come to light, but you don't have to focus on it. These are for the people who are still asleep and lost. A lot of this stuff coming to light is going to make them question things, and then there's going to be people like us out there to let them know what's going on. It's just going to happen faster and faster. Inevitably, the controllers has been trying to that has been controlling you directly with the radio and the TV for over 85 years now. Little did they know that what they were doing would inevitably speed up what was going to happen later. And so all the bad things they've been doing for so long, all that stuff is going to come to light faster, and this inevitably is going to wake up people faster to all the lies, and then make them seek real truth. It's called the awakening, or the shift. So I'm here to help others know that you have the power. This is how you'll rise up to the new you in the new world. This is why the world is the way it is now. We chose our reality. We've been programmed and conditioned to do this. So everyone's kind of been basically tuned in to the same reality with these old systems. Just being programmed to you by the TV, radio, religion, and stuff like that. When you see people living outside of the matrix per se, or see people that see a life for how it really is, they're going to teach you things from it, and teaching you things from it is going to help you tune in and create your new reality, and how you perceive your reality also. So how you've been controlled, and how you need to learn to another easier way to control your frequency is with your imagination. Imagination is image in action. As a carpenter, I use my imagination to literally manifest things into this 3D reality. At the camp that I'm working on right now, I took these huts that were in the air and basically turned them into log cabins in the sky, or log cabins on stilts. But even if I had a plan that come out of somebody's head, they put it on piece of paper in this 3D reality, and then I took that piece of paper and then my thoughts, my imagination, and I created it in a physical 3D touch. Creator, because you are creators, you are God. It's simple. Imagination is image in action. one of the easiest ways you've been controlled, and one of the easiest ways is you're going to learn to control is with your imagination. You've been controlled, through TVs and movies, music. The battle has been to control your imagination. I know my music has actually changed a lot here recently, but also my frequency and my vibration has changed a lot here recently. I don't listen to anything anymore that's like, it's got a bad vibration. I don't even hang out with anybody that's got a bad vibration. If you're in a bad mood, I'm not going to be around you. I'm going to head on my way. And that's real talk. I'll be by myself before I'm around anybody who's going to affect me personally and my vibration, where I can't control it myself. If I'm in a situation where somebody's directly affected me, I'm going to change that situation. So they've controlled your imaginations through media. Well, there's a Greek goddess called Medea, and her greatest power was being cunning. And so Medea, Greek goddess. Maybe some of the ancients knew some truths to things. Apparently there might be pieces everywhere. If we're gods, there's more than likely higher dimensional beings that are more connected than we are at this time being, not soon to be. But it's possible that these people in the past were here and people thought of them as gods just because they knew the actual truths of life and the way of life. Who knows? But I think that's a pretty good coinkydink that the Greek goddess Medea and media and how they control your imagination and your perception and your frequency, and the fact that she was cunning, and media is highly cunning and super programming. And so 85 years ago, not quite sure if the TV was out yet, but the radio, that was the first way to easily start controlling people. If you look up an old radio clip called War of the Worlds, this is back when there was only radio, it shows you how easy people were manipulated. It was the first radio prank, and it didn't go over too well. They did a little skit on the radio about being invaded by aliens, and people were freaking out because they didn't know that it wasn't true. And so the programming that's been done to you guys for over 85 years, where propaganda's been dropped on you, and even more advanced measures on manipulating and controlling you. That was the beginning, and now it's just like beefed up on steroids with all the new technology. And so that's why you got to learn how to control your frequency and your thoughts, so you can see where you're being controlled and take that control back for yourself. And then when you take control back for yourself, you're taking the control back for the rest of humanity. And that's how we all quit being slaves to a piece of paper. You learn to use your imagination through meditation, and learn how to use your mind and your thoughts and your frequencies. Visualize what you want, and it'll appear. If you look at any of these, read any books about law of attraction, that's all it is. It's imagination. You're using your imagination on top of your everyday tuned-in frequency is inevitably going to have your outcome to your day-to-day life. Practice it, learn it, live it, love it. It's that simple. We are the illuminated. We're the power. No one's to blame for our problems but ourselves. Uh, look around you and see the reality you created. And if you don't like it, change it. And you change it by controlling your frequency, by controlling your thoughts, and controlling your vibration. And you're going to do that by feeding your mind with information on how to control that frequency, and meditating and learning how to control your vehicle and your body, your antenna, and your mind. Bob Marley, being an indigo, one of the first wavers. Bob Marley being one of the first wavers. One of my favorite songs is called Get Up, Stand Up. And in songs he says, if you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on earth. So he already knew. He was already telling us before we were ever born. I loved listening to Bob Marley when I was younger. I still like listening to Bob Marley. The vibration of the music, the message, everything about it. It's just awesome. And now that I'm older and I listen to some older Bob Marley songs, it sounds like church music. I like it, but it's old school. It's just got a different sound to it, but it's got a message and it's got a feeling, and so I guess that's why it's kind of got that churchy thing. I used to tell everybody, I was like, music's my religion. And they asked me if I went to church. I was like, yeah, I listen to Bob Marley on Sundays. I seen a little neat thing today too, for equations, for any guys that like science, physics, or anything like that. Personal experience plus present moment, or your frequency, equals your future outcome. Past experience plus your current frequency equals your future reality. That's scientific. Tesla said when you learn to look at the universe as vibration and frequencies, and you unlock the secrets. And so here at our higher frequencies, that's the goal. We're here to unlock secrets, spread truth, and hop on this wave, this shift, help it move faster, and enjoy the ride together. Anybody got any questions, thoughts, concerns? Gonna try and do another show tomorrow night, and probably another show the night after that. I'll try to do consciousness grid. Everything just keeps going back to frequencies. Apparently I can talk about frequencies forever, and how you could control them, which is how you control your reality. So I guess we all need to learn these things, but we're going to learn other stuff too. We're going to learn about the consciousness grid. It's also going to tie back in the same thing. More than likely, everything we cover on the show inevitably is going to come full circle and tie back to the name, which is higher frequencies, which is going to tie back to yourself trying to vibrate at a higher frequency. Does anybody have any questions for any guys out there on Facebook Live? Any comments, concerns, anything you guys want to talk about before we close up the episode tonight? At an hour, it's not too bad. I'm gonna try to keep them around here. Yes, everything is a Sandy Watson Murray said that objects carry frequencies like stones. Yes, everything is a frequency, from the plant to the blade of grass, to the rock, to this big giant rock that we're floating on, to your personal self. every single bit of it is a frequency. And so the more we learn how to control our frequencies, this one's called Frequency Control 101, but we'll have multiple upon multiple episodes on controlling your frequencies. And one way that you can learn along with meditating is crystals, rocks. Everything is a vibration and frequency, and rocks and crystals carry these vibrancies, and rocks carry these frequencies, and they can help you maintain and change your frequencies just by carrying them on your persons, meditating with them. But there's a whole science to it, so we'll have to do an episode on it, or you can look into it, do a little footwork for yourself on how to use stones to balance your chakras and change your energies. You got to cleanse them, clean the energy off of them, put intentions on them. There's a whole lot, just the crystals alone, but those are also a tool. Sandy also mentioned about grounding. It's a great tool to control your frequency. Grounding is simply going barefooted outside on the dirt, where most people don't like, especially city people. You see it more out here in the country. Why do you think little kids want to run around barefooted? It's natural. You're throwing this rubber on your feet. You're just even becoming more disconnected upon mountains and mountains of disconnection and fear frequencies being thrown at you all the time. So no wonder the world turned to shit. That was the plan. But inevitably they turned the world to shit, and then everybody's seen it, and now the light's coming, and now we're going to change it. But you can ground yourself by taking your shoes off, going out and being in nature. Nature has a frequency. Going out, being around the trees and around nature, you already know if you enjoy the outdoors, on how that makes you feel better, and it helps raise your vibration. So if you can go out in nature barefooted, you're multiplying that tremendously, because you are kind of a transmitter and a receiver for frequencies. And so when you're walking barefooted on the earth, you're converting positive and negative ions through your body and through the earth. And so that's how it's going to help you ground yourself, and help you be more in tune to yourself, so you can control your vibrations. There's meditations you can look into about grounding outside. I got the links up on the webpage for you guys that visit the website. There's some links on there where you guys can do some footwork and learn more about things. A lot of sources on things that are going on, things you need to know or you might want to learn about. Like grounding and meditation, and maybe turns. There's a nice link on there. I think it's called Ascension Wiki. It's got you can go on there and read forever if you're interested, but it'll give you terms that you might hear here and there, like 12D or original blueprint or ascension or dimensions, or any of this stuff that might be confusing to some of the new people to the awakening. You can go there. It's going to drop words on you and what they mean, and it's going to drop new words on you that you're going to learn. And just by being curious and wanting to feed yourself knowledge, you're going to learn. You're going to learn a lot, or you can tune in to hear and learn some stuff, or you can tune in to you can get on certain groups on Facebook. Surround yourself with knowledgeable people and like-minded people, which you're inevitably going to attract, and just keep learning and controlling those frequencies. We have any more suggestions or comments before we close up the show tonight? Appreciate that, Sandy, for bringing that up, because it helped me remember something else that I was wanting to talk about, which was nature, and using nature to control your frequency. We went out to Linville Falls this weekend up in the mountains, and I know on the way there, being around the kids and a good song come on the radio, and kids was dancing. We was up in the mountains. It was beautiful. Couldn't help but feel like super fucking awesome. Like frequency on 1,000,000 is what I felt like. You know, just had the biggest smile on my face. I was wanting to dance too. You know, that's what it's all about. And then, you know, the whole time we were outside in the woods, and seeing the water and all that stuff, you just feel, you know, that natural vibration that just automatically makes you feel good, feel better. Alright guys, you can check us out on Facebook, High Frequencies NC, facebook.com, Higher Frequencies NC. You can check us out on our webpage, which what we really prefer, higherfrequencies5d.com. All the links to the audio, all the video links, and all that is on there. Catch us on iTunes for free, Google Play for free. Download the audios directly from the website for free. Or watch on YouTube or Facebook Live, and you can join on Facebook Live and talk with us and get in the conversation in the podcast. Yeah, thank you, Sandy. That's why we started the show here. Everybody is going through the same thing right now, questioning reality, going through the awakening. It's real confusing for everybody. We're out here to tell everybody there ain't shit to be scared of. It's hard to understand a lot of things, and what's going to help you understand more is doing the footwork and learning and watching shows like this and catching other people. Because people are being drawn out to tell you the same thing that I'm telling you. I see it everywhere. So people are being drawn out to tell you their thoughts on the same thing, and they're saying the same thing in a different way, and they're connecting with different people. And that's inevitably just make all this happen faster and bring on this new world that everybody's been predicting. So thanks for joining us, Sandy. Hopefully your friend will listen in. I'm glad you joined us. Maybe something I said will help her. We're all crazy. Sandy said she's known she just couldn't tell people without sounding crazy. I've sounded crazy for a long time. Me and Alex used to be what they call conspiracy theorists, but we weren't conspiracy theorists. We just knew the truth, and here it is, 10, 15 years later, and guess what? Those weren't theories, those were truths. And so we've always been kind of labeled as crazy. I guess that's what kind of got us comfortable to this point to do what we're doing, is cause we've always been crazy, so there ain't nothing new to that. Just coming out here and trying to do our thing, connect with people, and help one another. You guys got to get out there, connect with your friends, your real friends. Get your circle straight. If people bringing you down, don't have them around. Keep them vibrations high and attract that right tribe. One cool sayings I like is your vibe attracts your tribe. So go out there, get to know your neighbors, be nice to them, help bring their frequency up, connect with one another, start connected with like-minded people, and help move everything forward. You guys come back. I'm going to try and be back on here tomorrow night. Might do Consciousness Grid tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll just see how it goes. Couldn't get Alex on Facebook Live with us tonight, so that's how I ended up being kind of solo here. But hopefully we'll have him in Hopefully we'll have him here tomorrow night. So I appreciate all you guys coming. I appreciate all you guys coming and join me tonight. Come back and see us tomorrow night, or catch the audio. I know there's one point in the video where it was looping back because I had opened up the stream in the viewer. So catch out the audio. There won't be no problems on it. Come see us tomorrow, guys. Peace, love, and namaste. Peace, love, namaste.